Hey y'all, it's me, Tree. So, have y'all ever noticed that sometimes the test isn't in what you do, but it's actually in the things that you don't do? That moment when someone shows up, there's an invitation, a spark of curiosity, and you feel yourself coming to a crossroads. It's not about whether the connection will last. It's about whether you've learned enough to say no before you step into it. Because that's discernment. And it's one of the most underrated spiritual gifts that all of us have. Just the other night, there was somebody that I barely spoke to at a poker game that I was playing in. That asked for my number and then invited me to dinner. He was from out of town, not someone living here, and not someone who even comes through this area very often. And right away, I could feel some way about it. Yes, he seemed fun, but more so, it didn't feel aligned. Because on paper, it was harmless, maybe even a little flattering. But in my spirit, I knew this wasn't about the man, it was about the mirror. So I pulled some cards, and the message, it came out so clear. The energy was light and curious, but it didn't have roots. It wasn't malicious. It just wasn't meant to be anything lasting. And that was the key. Because the lesson wasn't in saying yes to see where things would go. The lesson was recognizing that it wasn't aligned before I even put in the energy to step into it. And I guess that this is where so many of us get stuck. We think we need to experience a situation in order to learn a lesson. But sometimes the actual test from spirit will be through an invitation, a door half open. And then the question, have you learned enough to walk past this pattern? Because discernment is choosing from wisdom, not from curiosity. So it's knowing that you don't need to taste poison twice to know that it's going to make you sick. And this is the truth. Saying no can be just as powerful, sometimes even more powerful than saying yes. Because discernment, it shows up everywhere. In relationships, when someone offers you attention, but you already know that they don't have the consistency that you really deserve. Sometimes in work, when an opportunity looks shiny, but would pull you out of alignment with your deeper purpose in a moment. Also in our spiritual path, when we're tempted to chase every sign, every number, every answer, instead of trusting the one clear that's right in front of us. Discernment is about asking, does this feed my future self? Or is this just my momentary curiosity? When I said no to that dinner date, it wasn't about rejecting somebody. It was about honoring myself. Spirit wasn't sending me a soulmate in that moment. It was sending me a test. asking, can you recognize this pattern without walking through the fire again? So this dinner decline, that was the real victory. It wasn't me proving that I can survive the flames. It was me proving that I don't need to keep touching them. I don't know. If you're finding yourself at a crossroads, maybe a new connection, a tempting offer, a chance that feels familiar, then ask yourself, is this an invitation or is this a test? Because remember, the lesson isn't always in saying yes. Sometimes the test is having the courage to walk away. Where there's love, there is light. I'm sending it to you, and I'll talk to you guys soon.